Hello, and welcome to Module 3, Chapter 5. In this presentation, we will explore the PLA-MNH group reporting system. This presentation is split into 5 sections. First, we will consider the responsibilities, knowledge, and skills that PLA-MNH group facilitators need to report on PLA-MNH group progress. Then we will look at the PLA-MNH group reporting system, before looking specifically at the reporting which the PLA-MNH group secretaries and facilitators will undertake. Fifth, we will cover what to do next after reviewing this presentation. And finally, we will also give you guidance on how to get answers to any questions you might have. Let us consider the responsibilities, knowledge, and skills that PLA-MNH group facilitators need to facilitate PLA-MNH groups. As presented previously, PLA-MNH group facilitators are critical and central to the success of the PLA-MNH group approach. They are the members of the program implementation team most directly involved in supporting PLA-MNH groups to achieve their objectives. To do this, PLA-MNH group facilitators have 4 key responsibilities. 1. Facilitating the PLA-MNH group action cycle. 2. Reporting on PLA-MNH group progress. 3. Linking PLA-MNH groups. And 4. Building capacity of PLA-MNH group committees. In Chapter 5, we are concerned specifically with building capacities in relation to the second responsibility, reporting on PLA-MNH group progress. There is one knowledge and skill area that is critical for PLA-MNH group facilitators to deliver this responsibility effectively, and that is reporting skills. And we will explore these skills here in this presentation. But first, let us look at the PLA-MNH group reporting system as a whole. All PLA-MNH groups reporting starts with the PLA-MNH group secretaries. The PLA-MNH group secretaries are responsible for filling in the registers after every group meeting. The purpose of the register is to monitor the attendance of members. Monitoring membership, for example, seeing whether enough members regularly join meetings or seeing if adolescent girls and men are joining groups, can give the facilitator and committee important information to build a strong group. We will talk about the group register in more detail later on in this presentation. In PLA-MNH group programs, every group will have a register. So in this example program, since there are 11 groups, there are 11 registers. And also, every group will have a group notebook. So in this example program, since there are 11 groups, there are 11 notebooks. The role of the PLA-MNH group facilitators is to sit down every month and collate information from the group registers and the notebooks from all groups in their catchment area, and then use that information to write group monthly reports. The purpose of the group monthly report is to monitor the progress of the group. Monitoring the progress, including group membership, achievements, successes, and challenges, can give the facilitator and their supervisor important information to build a strong group. In PLA-MNH group programs, every month there will be one group monthly report per group. So in this example program, since there are 11 groups, there will be 11 group monthly reports per month. Depending on the design of the PLA-MNH group program, each PLA-MNH facilitator may be responsible for writing one group monthly report per month, where they have one group in their catchment area, or multiple group monthly reports per month, where they have 2 or more groups in their catchment areas. So in this example program, 4 PLA-MNH group facilitators will be responsible for writing one group monthly report each every month. 2 PLA-MNH group facilitators will be responsible for writing 2 group monthly reports each every month. And 1 facilitator will be responsible for writing 3 group monthly reports per month. The role of the PLA-MNH group supervisors is to sit down every month and collate information from the group monthly reports for all groups in their catchment area, and then use that information to write the supervisor monthly reports. In PLA-MNH group programs, each PLA-MNH group supervisor will be responsible for writing 1 supervisor monthly report per month, however many groups they have in their catchment area. In this example program, there are 3 PLA-MNH group supervisors, and they each have 3 or 4 PLA-MNH groups in their catchment areas. So we'll be collating information from 3 or 4 group monthly reports to write their 1 supervisor monthly report. The role of the PLA-MNH group managers is to sit down every month and collate information from the supervisor monthly reports for all supervisors in their catchment area, and then use that information to write the manager monthly reports. In PLA-MNH group programs, each PLA-MNH group manager will be responsible for writing 1 manager monthly report per month, however many supervisors they have in their catchment areas. In this example program, there is 1 group manager, and they have 3 PLA-MNH group supervisors in their catchment area. So we'll be collating information from 3 supervisor monthly reports to write their manager monthly report. Finally, information from all PLA-MNH group manager monthly reports in the program area can be collated and entered into a PLA-MNH group program dashboard every month. The dashboard can be used by the PLA-MNH group program coordinator to track program progress, enabling the team to celebrate achievements, identify challenges, and come up with actions to resolve them. It includes data entry pieces, which then get translated into reports or graphs, enabling the PLA-MNH group program coordinator to track these elements. In PLA-MNH group programs, all PLA-MNH group manager monthly reports will be entered into the dashboard every month. In this example program, there is 1 PLA-MNH group manager, so 1 manager monthly report will be entered into the dashboard each month. The dashboard can become an even more powerful program management tool where data from the facilitator monthly reports is also entered on a monthly basis. And the dashboard can be further enhanced where health management information system data on key maternal and newborn health indicators is also entered on a monthly basis. Monitoring PLA-MNH group programs using the dashboard will be covered in detail in Module 6. Before we move on to look at the group register and group monthly report in more detail, it is important to discuss data protection first. As the register and possibly the group monthly report contain personal information about the members, it is important to keep this information private. Facilitators will have to store the registers and reports securely. Facilitators and secretaries should reassure group members that this information will only be visible to the immediate PLA-MNH team for the purposes of the project only, and will not be visible to anyone else. Let us now look specifically at the reporting which the PLA-MNH group secretaries will undertake. As described just now, in PLA-MNH group programs, each PLA-MNH group secretary will be responsible for filling in the group register and notebook after every group meeting. And this is what the group register looks like. The first step in completing the group register is for the PLA-MNH group supervisors to fill in the page number, the group name or ID and group location, and to fill in the names of the chairperson, facilitator, supervisor, and manager and their corresponding cell phone numbers. If the secretary does not know who the supervisor and managers are, they can ask the facilitator for this information. The second step is for whenever a new member joins the PLA-MNH group, the secretary should fill in the following information for each member: the name of the member, whether the member is male or female. The secretary should assign an M if the member is male and assign an F if the member is female. Whether the member is an adolescent aged 19 years or under. If they are an adolescent, then the secretary should place a tick. If they are not an adolescent, so older than 19 years old, the secretary should place a cross. And whether the member is pregnant. If the member is not pregnant, the secretary should leave the cell empty. The secretary should repeat these steps for each member of the PLA-MNH group. Before we continue with the further steps, it's important to establish who a group member is. A group member is anyone who attends a group meeting. As group membership is open, anyone who attends a meeting is a member. At each PLA-MNH group meeting, the secretary should follow step 3. For step 3, the PLA-MNH group secretary should, first of all, identify which meeting is being held at the time and write down the date at which that meeting is being held. Then the secretary should do the following for each member in the register. Tick whether the member attended the meeting being held at the time, and check for the female members who were not pregnant at the previous meeting, whether they have become pregnant in the meantime. If this is the case, place a tick in the pregnancy column for that member. For those female members who previously were pregnant but since the previous meeting have given birth, the tick in column D should remain. During the time of the project, these female members were pregnant at some point, and so it is important to keep the tick in column D. We will go through these steps in detail during the exercise that follows this presentation. It might seem at the moment there are quite a few steps to take, but please be reassured that the reporting is simple once the secretaries and facilitators have had the chance to do it themselves in practice. It's not always easy identifying pregnant women. Both these women could be pregnant. Identifying women later in their pregnancies is easier, as they may have visible external signs or may have disclosed to others, as the woman on the right. But there are many challenges that make it difficult to identify pregnant women who are early in their pregnancy, when there are no external signs, the woman on the left. It is a woman's own choice to disclose her pregnancy when she feels comfortable. However, the earlier she discloses it to a health worker, the safer her pregnancy and childbirth will be. The group can also offer their support to pregnant members. So, to help dispel any fears and encourage women to disclose their pregnancies early, the first thing is for the PLA-MNH facilitator to engage in sensitization of women and the community as a whole. This includes sensitizing women on the importance of going to get a pregnancy test as soon as they notice they have missed their period, and the importance of disclosing pregnancy early to a health worker for her and her baby's health and safety, and sensitizing other community members on the importance of supporting all women who become pregnant. Furthermore, it is important for the PLA-MNH facilitator and the secretary to build a relationship of trust with the group members so that the group members feel comfortable disclosing this information with them. The group secretary is also responsible for filling in the group notebook at the end of each meeting. the Secretary should report the minutes of each meeting in the notebook. This information will later be used by the PLA-MNH facilitator when they complete their group monthly report form to summarize what the groups have discussed and accomplished in each meeting. For each meeting, there are overarching minutes, the main takeaways from the meeting. These overarching minutes are there as a reminder for the secretaries to make sure they include them in their minutes in their notebook. Let's go through each overarching minute as a refresher of Chapter 4. For Meeting 1, the Secretary should report the committee and ground rules developed. For Meeting 2, the Secretary should report the 2 newborn health problems prioritized by the group. They should copy the timeline into their notebook, which showcases the health problems affecting newborns in the community during childbirth and up to 1 month after birth. For Meeting 3, the Secretary should report the 2 maternal health problems prioritized by the group into the notebook and copy the timeline they created during the meeting. The timeline should showcase the health problems affecting mothers in the community before pregnancy, during childbirth, and up to 1 month after birth. For Meeting 4, the Secretary should copy the 4 flow diagrams into the notebook. These flow diagrams were made to showcase the behaviors that can help to prevent and manage the priority maternal and newborn health problems in the community. There are 2 flow diagrams for the prioritized newborn health problems, 1 flow diagram per newborn health problem. And there are 2 flow diagrams for the maternal health problems, 1 flow diagram per maternal health problem. In Meeting 5, the Secretary should summarize the barriers and solutions identified. They should copy another 4 flow diagrams into the notebook. These flow diagrams will showcase the solutions that the groups identified to overcome the prevention and management behaviors for the priority maternal and newborn health problems prioritized by the group. Again, there are 2 flow diagrams for the prioritized newborn health problems, 1 flow diagram per newborn health problem, and there are 2 flow diagrams for the maternal health problem, 1 flow diagram per maternal health problem. For Meeting 6, the Secretary should report the information that was shared with the community members in the community meeting and report the questions and ideas raised by the community members and what support they offered. For Meeting 7, the Secretary should summarize the action plans for the solutions developed. The Secretary should copy 1 action planning table per each identified solution into the notebook. So if the PLA-MNH group has identified more than 1 solution, the Secretary will copy more than 1 action planning tables. The action plan contains the aims, resources, steps, timeline, and task force to guide implementation of each solution. For Meeting 8, the Secretary should copy 1 resource mobilization plan per each difficult-to-reach resource into the notebook. So if the PLA-MNH group has identified more than 1 difficult-to-reach resource, the Secretary will copy more than 1 resource mobilization plan into the notebook. The resource mobilization plan includes what sources the group will approach and what way they will approach them to lobby for the needed resource. For Meeting 9, the Secretary should copy 1 evaluation graph per solution into the notebook. So if the PLA-MNH group has identified more than 1 solution, the Secretary will copy more than 1 evaluation graph. The evaluation graph that they copy over should include the consensus of the group about whether the solution has achieved its aims and reason why the group thinks so. It should also include the actions the group is planning to take in relation to the solution, either continue implementing the solution, revise the solution, or stop implementing the solution. For Meeting 10, the Secretary should report what the group agreed on in terms of next steps and actions into the notebook. For the final meeting, Meeting 11, the Secretary should report the information that was shared with the community members and report the questions and ideas raised by the community members and what support they offered. Although the PLA-MNH Group Secretary will be responsible for filling in the register and notebook after every group meeting, the Secretary should hand over the register and notebook to the facilitator. The facilitator will hold onto the group register and notebook in between meetings. The reason for this is that the facilitator will need the group register and notebook to complete the group monthly reports, which will be addressed in the next section. Remember that the facilitator should store the group register and notebook securely to keep the member information private. So let's take a look specifically at the reporting which the PLA-MNH group facilitators will undertake. As described just now, in PLA-MNH group programs, each PLA-MNH group facilitator will be responsible for filling in a group monthly report per group. Each facilitator may be responsible for writing one group monthly report per month, where they have one group in their catchment area, or multiple group monthly reports per month, where they have two or more groups in their catchment area. And this is what the group monthly report looks like. Most of the information from the report will be collated from the PLA-MNH group register and PLA-MNH group notebook, completed by the PLA-MNH group secretaries and held by the PLA-MNH group facilitator. However, the PLA-MNH group facilitators should also use information gathered during the month from reflections they've had during the time they have facilitated the groups, peer learning sessions they have had with other PLA-MNH group facilitators, and any other conversations or meetings they have had with group and committee members, community members, and leaders and other stakeholders. Once this information has been gathered, the PLA-MNH group facilitators should follow 4 steps to complete their group monthly reports. In step 1, the PLA-MNH group facilitators should fill in for each group they facilitate the reporting month and year, the group name or ID and group location, and they should fill in the names and cell phone numbers of the chairperson, supervisor, manager, and their own name and cell phone number. In step 2, for each PLA-MNH group that the facilitator facilitates, they should tick the number of meetings that the group have conducted to this date. In the third step, they should refer to the group register to sum up the total number of members in column A of the group register and add this number to the box E on the group monthly report. Enter 0 in column E if no members have joined the group. Just to showcase, this data comes from this section, highlighted in red, of the group register. The same step is repeated for the boxes F to I on the group monthly report. The total women to date comes from the in red highlighted section of the group register, as shown on this slide, which is column B. It is the total number of females, Fs, registered in the column. The total adolescents to date comes from the in red highlighted section on this slide of the group register, column C. The total pregnant women to date comes from the in red highlighted section on this slide of the group register, column D. The total men to date comes from the in red highlighted section of the group register, column B. It is the total number of males, Ms, registered in this column. For step 4, the facilitator will have to write a summary of the key achievements, challenges, and actions from the meeting or meetings that the group have conducted during that reporting month. The facilitators should refer back to the notebook for the minutes. The facilitator can also use other sources of information, such as reflections and peer learnings, to help summarize these achievements, challenges, and actions of the group meeting or group meetings that took place in that particular month. Again, it might seem at the moment there are quite a few steps to take, but please be reassured that the reporting is simple once the facilitators have had the chance to do it themselves in practice. The exercises at the end of this presentation will also help with their understanding. So what should you do now that you've reviewed this presentation? First, we recommend that you update the Module 3 progress tracker. And second, we encourage you to do exercise 5.1. And third, we encourage you to do exercise 5.2. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us by email or phone. One of the team will be more than happy to help. Enjoy the course.